pleasure. We're everywhere for you. 107.7 in La Crosse, 103.9 in Winona, and 98.3 in the Tri-States. Thanks for listening to KQ98.
Probably went a little too far, just a little too far. 'Cause I was gonna be your forever, you were gonna be my wife. We didn't know any better, didn't have a clue about life. But I was what you wanted, you were what I needed, we could meet in between. We were gonna be the greatest love story this town had ever seen. And I got a job, I was working at 9 to 5, dreaming of the days when you were in my arms. I never felt so alive. I spent my days working, spent my nights drinking, having that mood, screaming for the days when you were coming back. No, it couldn't come too soon, couldn't come too soon. When I was gonna be your forever, and I was learning all about life. But I was what you wanted, you were what I needed, we could meet in between. We were gonna be the greatest love story this town had ever seen. Got us boyfriend didn't work out, so we went out for a cup of drink to find out who we are now. Still we change, but way deep down, yeah, same old feelings for me. I went into the store and bought you a ring, and I got down on one knee, down on one knee. And I said, I'm gonna be greatest love story this world has ever seen. So baby, say yes to me. Take on
KQ98.
Gonna know it all. You'll think you're 10 feet tall, run like you're bulletproof, total car attack. Boy, you're gonna hate this town. Wish you could burn it down. That fire in your eyes, 20 counties wide. But boy, you're gonna love 17. Boy, you'll do some stupid things. You're gonna try to kiss the club heart, the love when you're fast. You're gonna try to fall, hit the wall, break some hearts like glass. I know you will, 'cause you're a part of me, a part of you, who will always so stubborn. You get that from your mother. I already see it now. You weren't ever backing down. Oh, there'll be a small town night. You'll fall from the sky blue eyes. When she's in your hands, you think you're a man and not at all. She'll make you lose your mind. Boy, she'll be every reason why. You're trying to kiss and throw, but you run way too fast. You're gonna drop the ball, hit the wall, and break some hearts like glass. I know you will. So part of me, part of you, will always be my boy. You're gonna come back home. You're gonna settle down. You won't feel the way I'm feeling now. Till you have a boy, he's gonna know it all. He'll think he's 10 feet tall, but like he's bulletproof. He told me to call me
KQ98, that's new from Lee Brice. It's called For 20 in a row. Nobody plays more country. The Ultimate Girls Night Out is coming up just a week and a half away with Diva Fest 2017. Tickets are going really fast. It does sell out every single year. You grab tickets now at KQ98.com. Click on the Diva Fest link, or better yet, win free tickets all this week. Phil and Jacqueline and your hookup. Free tickets for Diva Fest 2017, KQ98, all this week.
Antetanaka Manapoko, Antetanaka Pono, Antetoka Numa, yeah, heck of it, man. The Greek Freak, we got a Bucks bus, baby, so hop on board. See Greek Freak and the Milwaukee Bucks take on the Mavericks on December 8th. Go and see the greatest import Milwaukee's ever seen. Well, except for maybe all those German guys who brought the beer recipes. They're pretty cool, too. Friday night, December 8th in Milwaukee, the Bucks and the Mavericks and the Greek Freak. Hop the Bucks bus and get your tickets at RadioStuffStore.com.
Hey man, the soil temps are good. How's planting going? It's okay. I'm just a little worried about corn rootworm. You don't apply a soil insecticide? Nah, that's too much hassle. You know, Syngenta has this Force Evo insecticide. It's a liquid formulation that's easy to use and it's effective on rootworms. Really? Really. Force Evo insecticide. Corn rootworm control without any hiccups. Always read and follow label instructions. Force is restricted use pesticide.
Holding, number 79, defense, first down. I'm also holding a party tonight.
Great call by the official. Looks like we've got another flag on the field.
Holding a Pepsi. Necessary refreshment. Hey, Ted. You coming to my party?
Of course. Please tell me Marsha's making her wings again.
You know it. Score! And the officials appear to be talking it out.
What can I bring?
Let's see. I've got hot dogs, burgers, plenty of chips.
And I got the Pepsi.
Perfect.
Great. I've also got Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Awesome call. You gonna do karaoke? You gonna do karaoke this time, yeah?
Pepsi and the NFL. Welcome to the Fun Doesn't End Zone.
All types of trailers, all at the best prices. Shop Ferguson Trailer Sales in Dover or south of Rochester on Highway 63. You'll find over 300 trailers in stock, including enclosed trailers to withstand the elements and trailer rentals too. The best built trailers, the best prices in the industry. Ferguson Trailer Sales in Dover and south of Rochester on Highway 63. Go to Ferguson-trailersales.com or call 800-509-8333.
Jobs.
Jobs now.
Jobs now.
Jobs now.
If you or someone you know is looking for a chance at a new beginning with a new career, go to MWFBroadcasting.com and click on Jobs Now to learn about how we can help you. Not available in all states.
Hey, Carl, how is it you always go over it? I thought you owned a business.
I own a Reese and Irby's robot franchise, Bob.
Robot? What'd they do?
They serve 7 flavors of delicious frozen yogurt in just 60 seconds with a choice of 6 tasty toppings. I've got robots in malls, movie theaters, and hospitals, and the franchisor secured these locations for me.
Sounds so easy.
Yep, managing my robots is simple. Each takes about 2 hours of maintenance a week, leaving me plenty of time to practice my short game.
Oh, nice shot. Looks like I need to get some Reese and Irby's robots.
Easiest employees you'll ever have. Just go to FroyoFranchising.com. Reese and Irby's will supply everything you need. They even secure you high-traffic locations. Hey, where are you going?
To learn more about a Reese and Irby's franchise opportunity.
To learn more about your Reese and Irby's Froyo Robot franchise opportunity, go now to FroyoFranchising.com and use promo code 7575. FroyoFranchising.com, promo code 7575. That's FroyoFranchising.com, promo code 7575.
And now the weather. The weather on KQ38.
Clouds here and there, and the sun is not helping warm it up a whole lot. 41 for the high this afternoon. Enjoy the sun while you've got it. Gosh, you know, with the time change, the sunset is before 5 now. 45 tomorrow with sun, and then cold the end of the week. Highs only in the 30s. It's 36 right now. Here's Darren Morris.
somebody love me. When you need a shoulder, you can cry on me. Got your life on me, all on me. Got my number, you can call on me. Give me trouble, fall on me. When it comes down, count on me. Close me out on me. Let it go, time on me. Till out, come and lay on me. When it gets heavy, wait on me. Just put it all on me. Yeah, baby, put it all on me. Put it all on me. Girl, put it all on me. Put it all on me.
I'm Bruce Houston, and I'm going to dance the dust off my boots with KQ98.
You got every guy in here spinning around, feeling their fear. I bet you came out, have a good time. So what you say we leave your friends with mine? Yeah, they'll be alright. I just wanna see you shine. Girl, you tearing that dance floor up. Let me see you do it in the bed of my truck. You sure know how to shake it alright. Let me see you do it in the Tennessee moonlight. Whoa, baby, let's go down a little road nobody else knows. Just me and you, parked on the edge of the world. That's how I wanna see you, girl. What you think about singing that dance? Taking a ride, taking my hand, kicking this crowd, bitching this club. This night's been waiting on us. Making this move. Yeah, feel like here's where we're getting to. Girl, you tearing that dance floor up. Let me see you do it in the bed of my truck. You sure know how to shake it alright. Let me see you do it in the Tennessee moonlight. Whoa, baby, let's go down a little road nobody else knows. Just me and you, parked on the edge of the world. That's how I wanna see you. See you getting my tailgate rocking, moving your hips like the wind moves time. You can get the whole wide countryside hopping. Bring the beat back. Come with me, girl. Tearing that dance floor up. Let me see you do it in the bed of my truck. You sure know how to shake it alright. Let me see you do it in the Tennessee moonlight. Whoa, baby, let's go down a little road nobody else knows. Just me and you, parked on the edge of the world. That's how I wanna see you, girl. Yeah, let me see you, girl. Come on, come on, come on, let me see you, girl.
KQ98. It's Phil and Jacqueline in the morning, and each weekday morning we're doing a game called The Country Question.
It's sponsored by Big Rooster Training in Sparta. It'll be trivia about maybe what's going on in country music, maybe a little nugget about one of your favorite country music artists.
All that knowledge you have stored up about your favorite country singers could get you a $10 gas card.
Listen in weekday mornings for The Country Question, brought to us by Big Rooster Training on KQ98. The Charmant in downtown La Crosse has had special events surrounding wine, special events surrounding bourbon, special events surrounding tea, but they have a really cool one coming up for beer, and it's Surly Beer. They're an exclusive beer dinner in cooperation with Surly Brewing Company. It's coming up this Sunday at 6 p.m. First course will be served promptly at 6:15. So if you want to get involved on this, you need to get yourself a reservation. Call down to the Charmant, book your table. You can go online, learn more about it, or better yet, go down there maybe today and have a bite to eat at lunch. Have a really great lunch. You can mix and match a soup or a salad if you like, and have a good time down there and kind of get a sampling of what they have for food. They do have phenomenal food at the Charmant. And think about that too if you're looking for a place for your holiday party. The Charmant can put on a heck of a gathering for you. Small to large, up to 75 people any day of the week. Check it out, thecharmanthotel.com.
So you're a get-her-done type of person that takes the job out to the woodshed if necessary. For weekend projects and typical work days, you jump right in there. And that's not a problem when you go to 7 River Surplus with their 15,000 square feet of tools, bolts, electrical components, motors, everything else you need. Bargain price. So while others are scratching their heads, you're scratching off another job on your to-do list. 7 River Surplus, Southeast Minnesota's man store, a quarter-mile west of Tri-State Auto, Highway 16, Hoka.
From the first kickoff to the final countdown.
3, 2, 1, go!
Keep your home warm and all your appliances running with a service choice plan from Minnesota Energy Resources, so you can enjoy all the comforts of home and keep it cozy. Service choice from Minnesota Energy Resources. For peace of mind, call 800-889-3479 or visit servicechoice.com.
On the gridiron, athletes make incredible plays, but without coaching and strategy, winning can be difficult. Combine a sharp game plan with talented players, and you've got a winning combination. On your construction site, it's the same. By matching experienced project managers with highly skilled craftsmen, you'll have a winning team and a successful building project. That's the Brickell Brothers way. Renovation or new construction, make their way home. Brickell Brothers, since 1970, the Coulee region's commercial design build. Reliable appliances are critical to a smooth running home, but from time to time they can act up. Volkmann's is your full-service appliance center, offering a large selection of the top brand name appliances at competitive prices, delivery and installation, and when you need in-home repair service. Volkmann's offers package discounts when buying multiple pieces, 0% financing to qualified buyers, and storage of your new appliance until you're ready. Check them out today at VolkmannAppliance.com or visit them at 109 Main Street, Winona. Volkmann Appliance, Winona's full-service appliance center.
Crank it up!
KQ98.
Something about yesterday, how fast it all flies away. I don't know what it is about a goodbye kiss that makes me want to stay. We were crazy, and we were over. We were breaking up middle of a runaway roller coaster. Every time I hear that song, I'm standing holding on and you. I still think about you. Every time I hear that song, it's like
Nobody plays more country. Songs you love to sing along with that bring back great memories on KQ98.
It started way back in third grade. I used to sit beside you. A pink dress, a matching bow with her ponytail. She kissed me on the school bus, but told me not to tell. Next day I chased her around the playground, across the monkey bar to the merry-go-round. And in the news got caught fascinating. But before the teacher said, I read what she wrote. Do you love me? Do you want to be my friend? If you do, well, it's all free. I'm afraid to take me by the hand. If you want to, I think this is how love goes. Jack, yes or no?
States.
Hottest. Country.
Stay tuned for more in minutes on KQ98.
Why trust the parts pros at Advance Auto? Because if there's one thing they know, it's parts.
Think you're calling Advance Auto Parts better? This is Karen, I got this.
Wondering if you guys do battery installation?
Yeah, absolutely. Free of charge. You do wiper installations too? Yeah. There's also free of charge. Wow, well, that's great. Yeah, so well, power testing, filtering, you guys pretty much do everything.
Listen to the Buy-Seller Trade Program, Tradio. It can be heard each weekday at 10:40 a.m. on FM 100.1 KCTN.
It was the 14th of October and that picture on your shoulder. I was drunk, said I was sober, and you said, yeah, right. You were talking for a minute, and some guy tried to cut in. You took my hand and we were feeling like I was your guy. Whoa, and I tried to get you middle name. 30 minutes, but we played the game. Then.
Well, Desmond Dawson directly is where he is because of her. He was just on YouTube covering her songs. Oh, maybe he's doing something maybe more. And, you know, she actually took notes and then shared with her fans and all the rest of it. Good for him. If your weekends are reserved for football, then you should be watching the games at B-Dub, where all the fans are there for the same reason to watch sports. Buffalo Wild Wings win through sports.
Today's best country. All day, every day.
If you could get rewarded for sleeping, would you? What about for sitting on a bench, looking out at the ocean? Or for sitting in a comfy chair, watching football on TV? Guess what? That third dream job is real thanks to Buffalo Wild Wings. You can come in, watch football, and earn points with blazing rewards just for being there. That's right. You're a professional football fan now. Brag about it to all your friends. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Terms and conditions apply. Must be a Blazing Rewards member. To join, visit BlazingRewards.com or download the Blazing Rewards app.
From the co-executive producer of Game of Thrones, my friends, there are devils out there. And the producer and director of Logan, we are at war. Between the people that live in this country and those that need control. In a battle between rich and poor. Brother versus brother. We will save the poor one summer. The Dracula Hell and Damnation, a new original series, tonight, 10/9 Central, only on USA.
Weather is brought to you by Royal Products, your dealer for Wilson, D&D, Big Tex, and Aluba trailers, servicing trailer brakes, suspension, wheel bearings, axles, minor structural repairs, along with wiring problems. Open Monday through Friday, 8 till 5, Saturday, 8 till noon. Royal Products in El Peter, where the difference is service. And weather today, clearing skies, highs into the low 40s, clear tonight, overnight lows, low 20s, Wednesday, sunny, highs in the low 40s. That's BTCN weather.
Hunting may not be a fashion event, but you do have to wear the right clothes. Since the weather can change in a hurry, dress in layers. Make sure to wear blaze orange on your head and torso. Other essentials include gloves, sunglasses, wool socks, and sturdy but comfortable waterproof boots.
This hunting safety tip presented by Homesteader Homes and Prairie du Chien. For your new home, call 608-326-4117. Stephen Schilling of Hill Country Gun Shack in Colesburg and West Union Motors Sales and Service. Stop into BT North and Prairie du Chien for all your new season Wisconsin hunting and fishing licenses. We sell bait tackle and boat launch passes for Prairie du Chien and now also for Gordons Bay. Fill your boat with premium BP gasoline and grab a tasty fresh-made wrap or Piccadilly sub to take with you before you head out on the river. When you get back, call 326-5555. Order a delicious Piccadilly pizza to take home. We still serve tacos from 11 to 7 using our home-style taco meat. Swing in and see us at BP North next to Design Homes in Prairie du Chien.
When your pit is full of number 2, call Midwest Manure Pumping. With a dragline hose system, it's much faster than using a tanker. If you do minimum tillage, they can use their minimum tillage toolbar for less compaction. Midwest Manure Pumping has a deep ripper to get rid of your heavy compaction as well. Midwest Manure Pumping will get the job done for your hog, cattle, or dairy operation. Call Mike at 563-599-5391. That's 563-599-5391. Midwest Manure Pumping. They will put number 2 to work for you.
Today's community calendar brought to you by H&N Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, serving Northeast Iowa and Southwest Wisconsin. Call 608-326-6023. Central Class of 2020 will host a holiday craft vendor show and farmers market Saturday from 9 a.m. until 2. Lunch and snacks available. TITCO and Fayette ISU Extension hosting a wreath-making event Saturday in downtown Fayette at the Extension office. It runs from 10 until 11:30 a.m. For more information, call 425-3331. Arlington Arts and Crafts Fair at the Arlington Community Event Center on Main Street in Arlington. Saturday from 9 a.m. until 2. A holiday vendor show Saturday from 10 a.m. until 2 at the Elkport Garber Community Center in Elkport. St. Olaf Legion Post 388 Beanbag Tournament. Saturday, sign up at 11, starts at noon at the St. Olaf Auditorium. For more information, call 880-9242. Volga EMS hosting their annual breakfast fundraiser on Sunday from 8 a.m. until noon at the Volga Fire Station. St. Olaf Legion Post 388 Biscuits and Gravy Breakfast. Sunday, serving from 8 a.m. until 1 at the Civic Center in St. Olaf. And St. Paul in Monona hosting a fall festival dinner on Sunday from 11:15 a.m. until 1:15. It is a free will offering, proceeds going to the ELCA Lutheran Disaster Response for hurricane relief. For more information on these and other upcoming events in our area, log on to our website, kctn.com or am1400online.com and click on the community page. That's today's community calendar.
We already knew each other.
boys and girls. That's what country is all about.
KCTN FM 100.1, today's best country.
You'll never settle down. You'll always be the one. Just stick around. You make all the rules. You're set in your way. You gotta have your freedom. You gotta have your space. But one day you'll meet the girl. Or you never find. Start feeling things you never felt. Spending all your time trying to figure out how she got this hold on you. And when you start to fall, you hold on to your pride. Start feeling of your wants and never let her get aside. You'll push her away.
I'm selfish when it comes to you.
I'ma get up again.
As I'm going to save this city, and the reason I'm going to save it is this: by the way that he came by, the same shall he return, and he shall not come into this city, said
Reinforcement, he works really well with kitties, very often. So basically, let's just take the sitting up as an example. So you basically want to put that on cue. So you can use a piece of food, a little treat, to lure her in that position. And I want you to create a marker. Either you say good, or you get a clicker, basically something that communicates to the cat what you are doing this microsecond is what's going to get you the treat. Because the treat takes a while to get there, right? And behavior happens in hundredths or tenths of a second. So you want to say, I use good. I used to use clickers. Clickers are great. A lot of people are really good with them. I'm absent-minded. I always forget the clicker. I never can forget my tongue. It's always in my mouth. Thank heavens for that. And I work with one of literally the country's top animal trainers. It was an amazing seminar with Susan Friedman and Steve Martin in Florida. We got to train macaw parrots, Larry. We had a macaw for half a day. And we got to train crows, and then we got a half day of lecture. It was phenomenal. Susan Friedman, go to her website. She's amazing. Anyway, Steve Martin can train any species of hawk to do a free-flying performance, free, right? You open the cage and it flies around and it does what you ask and then it comes back, right? He can train them to do that using nothing but saying good at the right time. So that's what I do. So you're going to lure your little kitty up into a sitting up position and you're going to say good and then give her the treat. And what you're going to start to do, once you're sure you can get that behavior working, then you're going to put it on cue. So you're going to say sit up or look cute or be adorable as she's starting to get in that position, and then wait a little longer and a little longer and a little longer for her to begin to offer it. And even if she goes halfway up on her own, you say, look cute, and she goes halfway up on her own, you're going to say, good, and you're going to give her a treat. And then gradually you ask for more and more and more. You can get cats to run agility courses. You can get cats to do, I taught Sushi to do high fives. That was trivial and easy. So you absolutely can. There are books out there.
Just looking at one online now, The Trainable Cat, it's called.
Fantastic. And Larry, I think you interviewed, did you?
Yes, I interviewed.
You told me you interviewed the author of that book, right? Yeah. So go online, find a book for it. It's all about positive reinforcement. And your cats also, they need mental exercise. Most cats don't get, especially indoor cats, they don't get enough mental exercise. They may get enough physical exercise, but they don't get enough mental exercise. And training tricks is a brilliant way to get them that.
Yeah, and good luck to you. Yeah, I know my own cats, especially Tiger. Tiger just loves to do little mental exercises.
Yeah.
And so and he likes these little greenies.
Oh.
Which that are keep your teeth clean. I think they're a little meatier. They have a little better flavor than.
Kitties love greenies. I actually call them the cocaine of cat food, which is probably going to get me sued by the greenies. But yes, my kitties love them. I actually train them to jump onto a particular place whenever I ask them to, using greenies because they're willing to work for greenies.
They definitely, well, Tiger definitely is. Sounds like yours are too. And the benefit is that they're getting a little tooth cleaning.
They are, but the one thing I would say is I wouldn't use greenies to train a new behavior because you know, you want to give them like 30 treats in a row.
Oh, yeah,
right?
you don't want to give them 30.
So that's way too many. Yeah. So best to cook chicken and cut it up or take little tiny pieces of kibble that's part of their dinner or something. Yeah.
Thanks again, Phil. Appreciate it. Andrea in Spring Valley, thank you for calling. Hi.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
My question is, I was wondering, what are your thoughts on using a muzzle on a reactive border collie when I'm visiting friends who have dogs?
I think in many ways it's brilliant, but I'll add a couple of cautions. And thank you so much for asking, because so often I think trouble and anxiety and injuries can be prevented if people are more comfortable using muzzles. You know, people use muzzles in Europe all the time. Dogs are out and about more, for one thing. It's a very different culture. It's really fun and interesting. I like it a lot better. And the dogs are out in parks, and they're off leash, and they tend to be better behaved. You see way less dog fighting. But people don't hesitate to use a muzzle if they feel they need to. So it's a wonderful way to have you not be worrying about something that's going to happen. It's a wonderful way to prevent trouble. I would condition the dog to the muzzle first, and I would use a basket muzzle. Don't use the kind of a cloth muzzle that the veterinarians use in the clinic. Those are muzzles they're going to use for a brief period of time for a medical procedure. Dogs can't pant with them. So you want to use a basket muzzle where the dog can fully open its mouth and pant. The kind that you would see on racing greyhounds. You know, everybody has that image of a racing greyhound. And there's lots of them available. You can find them online. Now, here are the cautions. The cautions are, first of all, dogs can terrify other dogs even without biting them. So, you know, you can get a dog who's a bully and who goes after another dog, stands over it growling, and every time the dog tries to move, the dog on the top growls and threatens it. The dog underneath doesn't know. They don't get the muzzle things. You know? So you have to be really thoughtful about, is this a situation that's really going to help? You know, would we be better to prevent and manage? Or do these dogs generally get along, but there are occasional times when my border collie gets highly aroused or something? Do I have time to ask her what the context is? Because that's what I want to know. Tell me more about what you're worried about.
It's basically what you described. Well, she gets along generally well. She's a keen, good citizen. She goes to training every week.
Super.
She does all the right things, but when there's some activity where another dog is racing around or growling, or she's just kind of in a new situation, sometimes she'll just go after the other dog.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to happen anymore because I want to be able to take her places with me. So
Yes, to play police. A lot of herding dogs can fall into that. Sounds like there was a play police cat we talked about earlier. We talked to his owner earlier today. So that is a very reasonable situation to use a muzzle, where there's a situation where you know dogs are going to be loose together. You need to be able to sort of take your eyes off them. The dogs generally get along. So that's a very reasonable situation. I would condition the dog to be comfortable with the muzzle. Be sure they can't flip it off with their paw. I've seen dogs do that. And at times my heart sunk and my heart beat out of my chest because I thought I was about to get murdered. So be very sure your dog can get out of it and is comfortable with it and it's safe. At the same time, you have a border collie. The bad thing about border collies is they are easily highly aroused. The good thing about border collies is that they're also extremely trainable and super responsive. So what I would also start doing with this dog is to start teaching it to stop when you ask it to. So you see the signs coming, and I actually have to do this with Willie. Willie has a nickname that I can't actually say on the air because his version of playing is, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start racing like racehorses. And because I'm really long and have long legs and I'm really fast, I'm going to get ahead of you, and then I'm going to muzzle punch your face and stop you. Isn't that fun? Okay, let's do it again. Okay, that's fun. And then I'm going to get ahead of you and I'm going to smash into you. Isn't that fun? Okay, and then he doesn't understand. It's like the third time the dog's like, I'm actually not
happy with this.
I'm going to stand here. So this is not uncommon herding dog behavior, right? So so with Willie, I can say, Will, and he'll literally like turn around and stop. Or I can say, lie down, or I can say, So I would start working on your training. And these are dogs who are bred to listen to you when they're 500 yards away in a dead run chasing prey. And if you can get them to lie down to a quiet lie down, you can get there. So you might want to get a trainer in to help you, but you can get there.
You can get there, and thank you so much for calling. Appreciate your call. Patricia McConnell, our guest today, certified applied animal behaviorist, international speaker. She is the author of 10 guides on training and behavior problems. Her books include The Other End of the Leash, For the Love of a Dog, and The Education of Will, a mutual memoir of a woman and her dog. We'll take a quick break for the news, and then we'll be back with Patricia.
I'm Mary Louise Kelly from NPR. No matter how you spend your weekends, public radio is good company. It entertains, informs, challenges, relaxes, inspires. It's radio for the way you live on the 6th and 7th days of the week. Public radio on the weekends brings the news and so much more.
From the news to This American Life to Simply Folk, WPR has it covered here in Southwest Wisconsin. See our schedules at wpr.org/Southwest.
91.3, the Ideas Network. WHHI, Highland, Dodgeville. The world around you.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Lakshmi Singh. The chairman of the House Armed Services Committee says the panel will launch its own investigation into the Air Force's failure to report the criminal record of the gunman in Sunday's Texas church shooting. Representative Matt Thornberry of Texas says the Air Force should not be allowed to self-police. The congressman also raised concerns that the failure to report domestic violence convictions like those of the gunman may be systematic. While the gunman had been convicted of assaulting his wife and young child and received a bad conduct discharge from the military, investigators believe a dispute with his in-laws prompted him to go to their church on Sunday and open fire. They were not there, but the gunman killed 26 people. Fred Milanowski, the special agent in charge of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, clarified the weapons linked to the gunman.
We will not know 100% sure until we actually test fire it, but all indications now is a semi-automatic weapon. I want to clear that up because that's been reported a couple different ways in the media. The second thing is ATF agents have acquired shell casings from the scene. Those shell casings will be entered into ATF's National Integrated Ballistic Identification Network, and that will help us determine if that rifle was used in any other shootings.
That update moments ago in Sutherland Springs, Texas. We turn now to South Korea, where President Trump has met with both U.S. and South Korean forces. More on this from NPR's Scott Horsley.
The base, known as Camp Humphreys, will ultimately house many of the 28,000 U.S. service members stationed on the Korean Peninsula. 40 miles south of Seoul, Camp Humphreys is beyond the reach of North Korea's conventional artillery. South Korea paid most of the cost of the base. Trump was asked by a reporter from South Korea about the $11 billion price tag.
I know what it costs, and it's a lot of money. We actually spent some of that money, and as you know, that money was spent, for the most part, to protect South Korea, not to protect the United States.
Trump also boasted during his developer days he could have built the base for a lot less money. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Seoul.
The European Union's top diplomats making the rounds on Capitol Hill as U.S. lawmakers work on legislation to step up pressure on Iran Details from NPR's Michelle Kellerman. The EU's foreign policy chief, Federica Mogherini, says she's making clear in her meetings with members of Congress that the Iran nuclear deal is working, and she's urging them not to pass legislation that would violate it.
And I got reassurances from their sides, different sides on the Hill, that this is exactly the spirit in which they're working to keep the United States compliant with the deal, and this is also our interest.
Congress has been reworking legislation that requires the president to certify the Iran nuclear deal, something Trump refused to do last month. Michelle Kellerman, NPR News, the State Department. You're listening to NPR News.
This is Wisconsin Public Radio News at 12:04. I'm Maureen McCollum. Nearly 24 Wisconsin counties say that nefarious and deceptive marketing campaigns from pharmaceutical companies are responsible for the nation's opioid overdose epidemic. The communities filed a federal lawsuit today. The counties say local governments' health and law enforcement services have been strained to the breaking point because of widespread opioid abuse. The lawsuit seeks unspecified monetary damages from Purdue Pharma, Johnson & Johnson, Endo Health Solutions Incorporated, and subsidiaries of the company. More than 24 states, cities, and counties have filed similar lawsuits accusing pharmaceutical companies of making false claims about the dangers of their drugs to make a profit. Purdue Pharma said in a statement it vigorously denies the allegation. Endo Health Solutions says it cannot comment on pending litigation. Johnson & Johnson did not immediately respond to a request for comment. A Democratic legislator on the state's Economic Development Board says he's now satisfied that taxpayers are protected in an incentives contract with Foxconn Technology Group. Senator Tim Carpenter sits on the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, which has been negotiating a contract to implement $3 billion in state incentives for a Foxconn flat screen plant in Mount Pleasant. The board delayed a vote on the contract last month after WEDC officials alerted board members of an unspecified problem. Carpenter warned that taxpayer funds could be exposed if Foxconn didn't fulfill the deal. Carpenter now says he's seen the contract and that the language has been revised to defuse the, quote, nuclear bomb. It's expected to get approval in a vote tomorrow. This is WPR.
Support for NPR comes from the NPR Wine Club, offering wines from around the world with stories behind each one in bottles inspired by favorite NPR shows. Available to adults 21 years or older. Learn more at nprwineclub.org and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Support for WPR comes from the Quilt Peddler in Fenimore, Wisconsin, specializing in quilting fabric and supplies, offering a nostalgic shopping experience. More about the Quilt Peddler in Fenimore at quiltpeddlerllc.com. Support also comes from Honda Motor Works in La Crosse, offering a wide selection of pre-owned hybrids, plug-in hybrids, as well as full electric vehicles. Comparative test drives are available. More information is at hondamotorworks.com.
There will be lots of holiday celebrations in the next couple of months, and today we're taking a look in part at how to keep your dog and you, and maybe your cat and you, stress-free as possible. Larry Mueller here with Patricia McConnell, certified applied animal behaviorist, international speaker, and author. And I know some of you recall the national radio show Calling All Pets that we did together. It was really a lot of fun. And it's great fun to have her back. You may have some questions for her about your own dog or cat. I hope you'll join in. Number to call, 1-800-642-1234. Email us at ideas@wpr.org or post on our Facebook page. And Patricia, let's go to Jack in Fitchburg next. Jack, thanks for waiting. Hi.
Hi, Larry. Hi, Patricia.
Hi.
So good to hear your voice again.
Thank you.
I have a situation. I have a dog, a female dog, had for quite a long time. But somebody at the shelter talked me into adopting this dog that they have, that they were going to have to put down. It's 18 years old.
Oh.
That is both blind and deaf.
Oh, my.
And it seems to be, well, it's kind of driving us goofy because it never seems to stay still. And it bumps into things, but it's kind of finding out where things are. But like, it'll walk right over, run into my other dog who might be laying down, and it'll walk right over her. And she's been pretty good. She doesn't growl or anything, but this little dog doesn't seem to go to sleep. It's just kind of, he's never quiet.
How long have you had the new dog?
Only about 3 weeks.
Okay. Couple things. One, it can take dogs quite a while to settle in. Usually you do start to see something after the magic 3s, 3 days, 3 weeks, or 3 months. So by 3 weeks, I would think it would start to settle in a little bit better, but it's definitely blind and it's in a new place, right? So the fact that it's pacing around makes a lot of sense, because surely it's anxious, it doesn't know where it is, it doesn't know where anything is, it's completely ripped away from what it knew and understood, and who knows what kind of background it had. But the other thing that comes to mind is I would talk to your veterinarian about canine cognitive dysfunction. Dogs can get a canine version of dementia. And one of the most common symptoms is pacing, not sleeping. They stop sleeping. They do a lot of pacing. They pace all night. Sometimes they end up sort of getting stuck in a corner with their pathetic little heads just sort of jammed into the corner and standing there for a long period of time. But this pacing is really common. There are medications that can help that. So I would, without question, talk to your veterinarian. Some vets are really comfortable thinking about using medications for behavioral issues, especially related to anxiety. Some veterinarians are not, because there's so much you can learn in 4 years of, think how much they have to learn. It's ridiculous how much they learn. So there are veterinary behaviorists who specialize in behavior, who know a lot about what kind of medication to use. So if I would talk to my own veterinarian, and I would encourage my vet, if he or she is amenable, and I would hope they would be, to talk to a veterinary behaviorist, because this as a certified applied ed behaviorist with a PhD, I would definitely be calling one of my colleagues, although they'd be in the vet field and I'm in the behavior field, to see what they had to say. So that's what I would suggest. I would look at some kind of anxiolytic, or that dampens anxiety, or a medication that specifically is targeted towards canine cognitive dysfunction or doggy dementia.
Makes good sense. Good luck, Jack. Appreciate your call very much, and good for you for taking that dog in.
What a sweetie. Oh, my heavens. Yeah, that's really kind of you. And let's hope that you can find a way to give the dog comfort. And if you can't, that's another thing I talked to your veterinarian about. It's been another 2 months. The dog is still miserable. He's 18. He's deaf and he's blind. That might be time to have the conversation of, is it time to give him a good way to pass out of this life into another one?
Good luck. Thank you, Jack. Jim in Sun Prairie has something for us. Let's go there. Hi, Jim.
Hi to both of you. Thanks for taking my call. This is great timing, as I just made an appointment to have our dog's claws trimmed, which happens to be a very traumatic event for everyone.
Oh, dear.
We first started out giving her a sedative before we get to the vet, and she's still too aware of what's going on. So every time we have to get her nails trimmed, we have to have her sedated.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we've gotten to the point where we went and got a trimmer identical to the vet would use, and we would put it by her bowl of food. We did this over a 3 to 4 month period. We'd put it by her food first, and then we would feed her treats off of it.
Aww.
And then we would touch her paw for a number of days or weeks. And then we'd touch her claw. And she got to the point where we could put pressure on the claw with the clipper. And then we clipped a nail. And then we did a week and clipped another nail, and that was it. And she just will not go near.
She lost it.
She's just lost it.
Wow.
We don't know what else to do other than sedate her, and we're afraid that that's going to affect her health over a long period of time.
I do have an idea for you, but first I want to just give you kudos. Yay for you for working so hard and doing the right thing. And everything you did is exactly what you should be doing. And it usually works. It works on most dogs. You're just unfortunate that somehow your dog got like super traumatized. She probably got quicked. Where basically the trimmer went into the quick of the nail. It hurts dogs as much as it hurts us, as best we know. The quick under your nails has a massive amount of nerve endings in it. It's very painful. It's it's very, very painful to cut into the nail. And so, and I think dogs don't like their paws being held. They're not primates. They're not humans. They don't hold hands. They don't. So that's the sort of don't like that. I think the click of the trimmer. I've actually had clients, and I had one of my dogs who were averse in some degree to getting their nails trimmed, and then they went deaf in old age, and they didn't mind as much. I really think the click of the trimmer is like, it's like they're training them. Click, here, something bad's going to happen, and they're just so entrained to hear that click, and it upsets them, even if it doesn't really actually hurt them. But I do have an idea for you. Have you ever tried a Dremel? Do you know what a Dremel is?
Yeah, she doesn't like that. I went out and bought one just specifically for a dog, and we tried getting her used to that too, and she won't go near that either.
Oh, phooey, that was my great idea for you. Darn, how dare you? So how old is she?
She's 2.5. She's a mixed breed rescue.
And what are we talking? 5 pounds?
We're talking, she's 40 pounds.
Okay.
Good sized dog.
And do we have any idea who's back in there genetically?
Oh, yes, we do. She's Eskimo, Chihuahua, and Terrier.
Oh, well, that's a combo that's just trouble on wheels right there. Yeehaw!
Boy, oh boy.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. I bet she's cute as a button.
Yeah, and she's very smart. That's the problem.
And yeah, you know, when people say my dog is smart, I always say, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, so, well, that was Plan B, so let's get rid of Plan B. Plan C would be to, well, first of all, keep doing what you're doing. You know, obviously she needs her nails trimmed. But here's, it sounds like you're really into training, which I'm just really impressed with. So here's Plan C, and there's actually a video. If you go online, I cannot remember, it might be Kiko Pup, Kikopup, Try that.
Okay.
I think it's her. It's a great series of videos, but it might be her, but if not, just Google training dogs to trim own nails. Basically, you can create a scratching post, and you can train a dog to paw hard enough to start wearing its own nails down.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so go online, find a video. It's not, you know, it's going to take, you're going to have to know something about training a dog, but it's not rocket science, and it's very doable. And you get the right setup. It's going to have to be what she pulls her nails across is going to be really, really sturdy. That's the problem most people have with cat scratching toys. A lot of the powerful ones you buy, they're really wobbly. The cats hate them. That's why they love your couch, because it's so sturdy. They want to be doing it on an oak tree, right? You know, so you need so make it really sturdy so the dog can't sort of flop it over and move it around. But then you basically you're going to use shaping. You're going to teach the dog to put their paw on it. It's like a slope scratchy thing. And then you're going to teach the dog to move the paw down a little bit, and then you're going to keep shaping it so it moves down with more and more force. So that's Plan C. I give it a try.
Good plan. I like that. Good luck.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Jim. Appreciate the call. Pearl in Mount Horeb has a different kind of issue, so let's go there. Hi, Pearl.
Hi. Well, about a year ago, a friend of mine was walking along the highway, and out of the grain field came this cat.
Aww.
And the cat was so friendly and everything, so she picked it up and brought it home. But she already had 3 cats, so she couldn't have a 4th one. So she asked if I would take it, which I volunteered to do.
Aw,
and
sweetie.
And the vet said she's about 4 years old, they think.
Okay.
And so I took her, and she's been a wonderful, wonderful pet, except for every once in a while, she gets the idea to just, leap at me.
Ow!
Twice now I've had to go to the doctor and have shots because she's bitten my hand so bad.
Oh, dear.
And for no reason. She's just sitting in my lap, and she loves to sit in my lap as I watch TV and so on. But I don't like, she sleeps with me at night but I don't dare move my fingers or my toes, because as soon as there's movement, she's ready to meet. And I know this is from her feral experience.
Of course, sure. Play and cats predation, right? Play and predation is very similar. So, okay, I'm really glad you called because I don't want you going back to the doctor. I don't want you going to the hospital. And cat bites, as many people know, can be very, very serious. You can get serious infections. I've had clients, I think I've had more clients who ended up in a hospital from a cat bite than a dog bite, even though 93% of my clients were dogs, and I specialize in aggression. So that tells you something. And so I'm guessing you're not 15 years old. And as you know, I'm like almost 69, and I'll tell you, my skin is a lot more thin than it used to be. So this is serious, and I'm glad you're asking about it. So one, I know this is really hard, and you may never forgive me, but I would feel so much better if you didn't sleep. You didn't sleep with a cat in the bed with you, because I'm worried you are going to get bitten badly, and I don't want you in the hospital. So, oh dear, what do? You find a nice cozy place. You can make it warm, extra cozy and warm for her. Put it far away so you can't hear her yowling for the first couple of nights, and hopefully she'll adjust to that. So when she's sitting on your lap and she's got after you, have you been petting her? Have you been touching her?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and so here's something that happens often with cats is we don't quite understand it, but there's something about the cat's sensory system where they seem to enjoy petting until they don't. And the best explanation I have is, have you ever had somebody like rub your back or rub your arm and it felt really good for a while and then it became irritating?
Yeah.
You know, cats seem to they get to that point really easily, and when they get to that point, they're not like, would you please stop petting me? They're like biting. So I would restrict your petting to very brief pet on her head and her chin and her cheeks. Not anywhere else on her body, because that's more likely to elicit that kind of bite. So I would pet, and then I would take my hands away and just stop and let her sit there. Pay a lot of, if it happens, be very thoughtful about what you were doing right before it happened, because it's usually predictable. So that's my best advice. And aren't you sweet to me, Miss Kitty?
Yeah.
We want to keep things happy and safe between the two of you.
And I was thinking about one of my own cats, Tiger, and he would do that, but I can't even describe to you what it is, but I know when it's gonna. I can see it coming, and then I quit petting.
Yeah, and good for you. And that's a great point, Larry, about being observant about changes in just even sometimes the way they're holding their body. Is it relaxed or is it tense? They'll often go still right beforehand. So sometimes, they're all sort of noodly and relaxed, and then all of a sudden you could just even sense, right? Is that, I think that's
you just gotta,
it's like
all
they
right,
go
I better quit right now.
Yeah, and so that's another thing is, all of us can learn to be better and better and better observers. When behaviors get together, one of the things we consistently say is if people were better at observing their pets, aggression or harm from them would be decreased by 90%. Because they often tell us when trouble's about to start, but we don't always notice.
Pearl, thank you so much and good luck. Appreciate your call. Sally in Hobart, your turn. Hi, Sally.
Hi, how are you?
Great, appreciate your call. What's on your mind?
Well, I have a 5.5-year-old male cockapoo. He's an absolutely perfect dog in every way.
Except?
Yeah, if there is an exception. I walk him 4 times a day, usually about a half a mile at a time, and the last walk, of course, is right before we go to bed.
Okay.
Every single night, he wakes me up about 2.5 hours later and wants to go outside. And he is nothing if not persistent. And so he whines and he kind of grumbles at me. And if I totally ignore him, then he'll come over and put his paw on me repeatedly. And you worry. You worry because you think, well, okay, he must really have to go out. And so I take him out. And sometimes it's because he wanted to look at the deer in the field. And sometimes he just stands around and looks at the moon. usually if I leave him there long enough, he pees, and then we go back to bed. Once we do that whole routine, then he sleeps until 8 o'clock in the morning. So should I just ignore him?
I would.
Yeah.
And it's hard. I am the first to say this is one of these behaviors that's just, there's no elegant solution. You know, we all wish it's like, I can just give you one tip and you can, you know, magically and with perfect ease turn this around. And the fact of the matter is getting a behavior to extinguish usually takes a certain amount of patience and stamina and commitment and earplugs. And so I would, if you had said every time you take him out he potties, you know, this would be different. But it doesn't sound like that. He's just in a habit. He's just in a habit. And we could all get in habits, and some are good and some are not so good. So one thing we know about changing habits is it takes longer than we want it to. Every single time. They used to say it takes 21 to 28 days to change a human habit. Now they're saying, yeah, it's a lie. It takes 60. But most of us give up somewhere around day 12, which is me too. It's so hard to power through it. So I would ignore it. I really would. And there's sort of versions of what you could do is, you know, you can just completely ignore it. Some people would suggest punishing it by, you know, a harsh voice or putting him in a crate or something like that. I would prefer you just try to ignore it for a little bit. You might say something, because we're human, you might say something like, oh, just put a sock in it, give it up, or time to go to sleep. And it is something you could try. You could actually, where does he sleep, by the way? In bed with you?
He starts out in bed with me, and then at some point tonight, I don't know if it's because I'm restless or what, but he goes into his own bed.
Oh, and that's off the bed?
Yeah.
You know what you might do when he wakes you up? Put him back in bed with you.
Okay.
Is just say, no, I'm not going out, let's go to sleep together. Put him in the bed, give him a little pat, stroke him in a long, slow, strokey way, and say, we're going back to sleep, and then go back to sleep. Now, the downside is, now you're teaching him to wake you up 2.5 hours later, so he gets put up in the bed. So you have to decide, is that better? I mean, it's better than having to go outside, right? Especially if you live in Wisconsin in winter. But so you are still teaching him something. So choose between plan A and plan B. Ignore it completely, but you're going to have to do it for quite a while. Or pick him up, put him in bed, tell him nighty-night, and just turn over and go back to sleep. Oh, I want to know what happens.
Oh, me too.
Let us know on the Facebook page for Larry's show. And
Well,
my
you told
Facebook
me
page.
in the past about this that a lot of times it'll go on and on and on, and then there'll be some really aggressive cry.
Oh, good for you for thinking about that. Extinction burst, it's called.
Yeah.
Great point, Larry. Yes, it's called an extinction burst. And so it's the equivalent of when you've been waiting for the elevator over and over and over, and it's late, and you're late, and it's not coming, and you finally press the button like, press, like 5 times, like that would make it come faster, right? But that's exactly what it is. So it might be that right before it's about to fall apart, you might see this burst of activity where he gets worse than he was before. That would be the time most people would give up. That's the time behaviors would go like, oh, thank heavens, we're at the end of this road. So great thinking, Larry. Good for you for reminding me.
I remember a few things. What's right?
Yes, our brains together takes a village, Larry, at our age. Yes.
Oh, man. Thank you so much for calling, Sally. And I want to remind people about your blog and your website and that sort of thing. So tell us about it.
Yeah, thanks. So the website, just Google my name, Patricia McConnell. That'll take you to the website where you can go to my blog. I post every Monday. You can get on the feed and it comes out Tuesday. There's a learning center on the website where you can learn all kinds of things, articles, videos, etc. And I'm on Facebook, Patricia McConnell, PhD. I'm on Twitter now, at McConnell Writes, which has been really fun. And I'm on Instagram, holy moly.
You're everywhere.
Woo-hoo.
And you're going to be in Mexico City soon, so that's back there. Well, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, New York starting Thursday and Mexico in March.
Oh, Patricia, I hope you'll come back and be with us again.
Always fun. Thanks for having me.
Patricia McConnell, certified applied animal behaviorist, our guest, international speaker and author. It's always fun to talk with her. And it's always fun to have you listening in, and thank you so much for your calls and emails. Tomorrow at this time, birds and deer will be on our topics. Thanks for listening. Stay with us. Lots in store.
Hey there, I'm Joshua Johnson, the host of 1A. The news is relentless, but we can help keep you sane and savvy as you listen to the Ideas Network throughout the day. 1A is the place to take a deep dive, a bridge after the news in the morning to bring you up to speed on the biggest stories, so you never miss out. That's 1A, Monday through Thursday afternoons at 1, here on the Ideas Network.
Support for WPR comes from Oakwood Village, Prairie Ridge, dedicated to building community, announcing their campus expansion, growing to serve the Madison area. Information on the expansion is available at oakwoodvillage.net. Support also comes from Forward Theater, presenting I and You by Lauren Gunderson. Two students bond over a Walt Whitman poetry assignment, unlocking a mystery that connects them. November 2nd through the 19th. Tickets are at forwardtheater.com.
91.3, The Ideas Network. WHHI, Highland, Dodgeville. The world around you.
This is Chapter Day. I'm Jim Fleming. I have a novel by Amor Towles, T-O-W-L-E-S, called A Gentleman in Moscow, published by Viking. It takes place in 1922, or it starts there anyway. The then 30-year-old Count Alexander Ilyich Rostov was sentenced to house arrest in the Metropole Hotel across the street from the Kremlin. An early poem saved him from being shot outright, but not if he steps outside the hotel. His life keeps expanding, however, inside the hotel. It goes on in surprising ways. It's 1923 now, as we begin Chapter 7 of A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles. At 5 o'clock on the 21st of June, the Count stood before his closet with his hand on his plain gray blazer and hesitated. In a few minutes, he would be on his way to the barber shop for his weekly visit, and then to the Shalyapin to meet Mishka, who would probably be wearing the same brown jacket he'd worn since 1913. As such, the gray blazer seemed a perfectly suitable choice of attire. That is, until one considered that it was an anniversary of sorts, for it had been 1 year to the day since the Count had last set foot outside of the Metropole Hotel. How was one to celebrate such an anniversary, and should one? For while house arrest is a definitive infringement upon one's liberty, presumably it is also intended to be something of a humiliation. So, both pride and common sense would suggest that such an anniversary might best be left unmarked. And yet, the Count donned his finest smoking jacket, custom made in Paris from a burgundy velvet, and headed down the stairs. When the Count reached the lobby before he could continue to the barber shop, his eyes were drawn to a willowy figure coming through the hotel stores. But then all eyes in the lobby were drawn to her. A tall woman, in her mid-20s, with arched eyebrows and auburn hair, she was, indisputably,
You'll find the experience and counsel you need at Tullochson Memory Memorials in Argonne.
Hi, this is Jeannie Hermanson from Astor Assisted Living, and I could give you many reasons why Astor would be a great place to live. But here's Cleo Kruger's story.
I've been at Astor's before.
Continue to hunt for a motive in Sunday's shootings at a tiny church in Sutherland Springs, Texas.
An overwhelming sense of sadness in this small Texas town today as residents work to plan 26 funerals. Monetary donations are being encouraged to help with funeral costs. Vice President Mike Pence expected in South Texas tomorrow to visit with families of the victims. Residents say it will be a while before things return to normal in Sutherland Springs.
Correspondent Clayton Neville. Leveling the playing field so businesses can make money and stay in the U.S. That, according to House Speaker Paul Ryan, is a big part of the House Republican tax plan.
And it gives hard-working taxpayers in the middle the kind of relief that they need to get ahead, the peace of mind they need so they can plan.
Lawmakers are marking up the bill this week, the long, intricate process of reviewing every line of the measure. Meanwhile, White House officials are lobbying some Senate Democrats for the plan. West Virginia's Joe Manchin sees this as a chance to actually cooperate with some Republicans.
They're basically your co-partners. You have to work with them, bringing different ideas to the middle and trying to find a pathway forward.
A concept Manchin says has disappeared in the past few years. But choosing new governors in New Jersey and Virginia today, the Democrats the heavy favorite in the Garden State. But the Virginia race between Democrat Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam and former National Republican Committee Chairman Ed Gillespie is now too close to call. President Trump's hinting at some sort of surprise Wednesday during his final hours in South Korea. During Tuesday night's state dinner in Seoul, he said that Wednesday will be exciting for many reasons, and people will find out. On Wall Street, the Dow is down about 37 points right now. The NASDAQ down 24. I'm Richard Johnson.
News this afternoon is brought to you by McGregor Mercantile, your local Benjamin Moore retailer. News also brought to you by the Thornburg Grau Funeral Home.
It's time for news.
Good afternoon with news. My name is Todd Crotty. Your forecast calls for gradually clearing skies today. Highs reach 41 degrees tonight. Expect clear conditions with lows falling to 21 degrees. And on Wednesday, sunshine expected with highs reaching 44 degrees. Election recounts would be more limited in Wisconsin under a bill set to clear the state legislature. The measure, up for a final Senate vote today, comes in response to Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein's 2016 recount, even though she finished 4th in Wisconsin. Under the Republican bill, only candidates who trail the winner by 1 percentage point or less in statewide elections could petition for a recount. Democrat Hillary Clinton lost to Republican Donald Trump by less than that margin in Wisconsin, but Stein, not Clinton, requested the recount. Democrats have argued unsuccessfully that if a candidate is willing to pay for a recount, there's no reason to prevent them from doing it. Governor Scott Walker has signaled his support for the measure. The Wisconsin Elections Commission is sending a reminder to thousands of people who may need to register to vote again. Andrew Beckett reports.
The agency is mailing out postcards to 343,000 registered voters whose records show may have moved recently. Spokesman Reed Magny says those names have been flagged after they filed a change of address request with the Post Office or Division of Motor Vehicles.
If you moved and you told the DMV that, hey, I have a new address, but you haven't updated your voter registration because there haven't been any elections and, it hasn't been at the top of your mind, you might get one of these postcards.
Magny says anyone who receives a card and is not recently moved should send it back to their municipal clerk. If they don't respond within a month, they'll be deactivated and have to register to vote again. Andrew Beckett, Wisconsin Radio Network.
In Wisconsin, children of any age would be allowed to hunt with guns under a bill the state Senate is set to approve. Currently, a Wisconsin resident must be at least 12 years old to buy a hunting license or hunt with a gun unless they're participating in a mentored hunt. Children as young as 10 can hunt through that program. This bill would allow people of any age to participate in a mentored hunt. The bill also would allow hunters and mentors to have more than one weapon between them. 34 states have no minimum hunting age, according to the Wisconsin Hunters' Rights Coalition. The Senate is scheduled to vote on the bill today. The Assembly passed the bill last week. Senate approval would send the bill to Governor Scott Walker. In Wisconsin, legislation repealing the state's so-called mining moratorium is set up for a Senate vote today. Bob Haig has more.
The bill's sponsor, State Senator Tom Tiffany, says he's been upfront about the environmental impacts of mining.
We acknowledge that this is a very intrusive activity. It needs to be managed carefully. That's why we designed the finish. our environmental standards in Wisconsin at all.
Existing law requires companies applying for a permit to point to a sulfide mine in North America that's operated for 10 years and shut down for another 10 without polluting ground or surface waters.
But there's a multi-billion-dollar industry that can be had here in northern Wisconsin to benefit the people of the state of Wisconsin.
Well, the bill passed the Assembly last week with 4 Republicans joining all Democrats in voting no. Bob Hayes, Wisconsin Radio Network.
This from Iowa. Simpson College in Indianola says it will cover tuition costs of Iowa students whose families have an adjusted gross income of $60,000 or less. The Des Moines Register reports that the college announced its plan Monday, with Simpson President Jay Simons saying in a statement, "There has been a lot of talk about making college affordable. We decided it was time to take action." Gary Steinke, president of the Iowa Association of Independent Colleges and Universities, say no other Iowa private college has such a program. To qualify, students must be a 2018 Iowa high school graduate and state resident, submit a federal student aid application, and have a 2016 adjusted gross income of $60,000 or less. They also must live on campus and pay room and board fees, which this year totaled $8,370. Students also would pay for any tuition increases. We'll have more news after this.
Hello, this is Joshua Brown with Thornburg Brown Funeral Homes and Cremation Services.
$1,001 to get you out of your oldie, even if we have to tow it in. Is your car worth more than $4,001? Then we step up and give you $2,001 to $4,001 more than it's worth. Who does that? Only a Man City. We triple the warranty on any new Mitsubishi to 30 years and 300,000 miles. And we won't let credit problems keep you from driving like a rock star. We are wrecking the competition with only $33 down, no payments for 90 days, and a guaranteed middle trade save up $4,001 on any vehicle in stock. We have hundreds of used cars that qualify for this offer, too. This deal ends with funding for this program runs out. Hurry and call now.
Call 1-800-514-1427. That's 1-800-514-1427. Or go to MadCityMitsubishi.com. $15 status for all qualified customers on approved credit and requires financing through MFCA. Minimum trade-in is not based on age, model, or condition. Is your dealer list price. Dealer retains all incentives.
The Big Kid Conference is all about big hits. And now, big savings at Shell. Every Tuesday, Fuel Rewards members with gold status save an additional 5 cents a gallon on every fill at Shell. That's on top of the 5 cents a gallon they already save every day. Not a member? Join now at fuelrewards.com/.
Dial, baby. Call. Dial, baby.
Hello.
Hi. How are you? Cool. Can't believe I fucked up the cable. Um, 45 miles west of Madison. back on. We promised to get back Friday. Or Saturday, shoot down the Bearville first time. Take care of it. Evidence of houses down there. No, I don't want to live in here. Oh yeah. Yeah, I was, I think really, really loose, you know. I was eating my last sandwich. Fucking bit down, I fucking bit that too, you know. My mouth was fucking hurt. So I was eating the rest of it very carefully, you know. Got done with my sandwich and everything, and took a drink of water. It's still real loose, but I had nothing in my mouth, wasn't eating nothing, anything, I just felt it fall off. Spit in my hand, there's that fucking, and out the window it went. Well, it's out. in. My second stop there at Spring Grove, always never get 2 pellets in there. It's always the smoothest thing ever get. So the lady, she's an older lady, she's like, "Where are my totes?" I'm like, "I don't know." And she laughed and she goes, "They're not returning our totes." She said, "Every time we have to build a box and ship shit out in a box, that costs extra money. Because they charge the price for a box." So, I'm like, "I don't know." I said, "I haven't had a load of racks in a long time." And she goes, "Yeah, we haven't had a load of racks in probably 3 months." And I'm like, "Well, I'll say something." No, it don't do any good. She said, "Unless you go directly to Chrysler, there's nothing to buy." Because I'll have my plant manager pick up there. Oh, there you go. But down to the second place, or the third place down there in Iowa, I backed in and walked in. He's like, "Holy crap, you were even earlier today than you were last week." And he goes, "But," he said, "I got some good news for you." That's what I said. He goes, "We're done with your shit." I'm like, "You are?" He goes, "You have 20 pallets." And he goes, "How much room you got today?" I said, "Well, I got plenty of room today." He goes, "Oh yeah, that figures. Today we got nothing, and you got plenty of room. Last week we had tons of shit and you had no room." So the black guy, he hauls auto parts back to Sauk Village, Illinois. I've seen him in there like 3 times already. And he beat me there. He's back in. And he goes, "Oh man," he said, "they're so damn slow today." He goes, "My shit ain't ready." So I backed in beside him and checked in. And they were starting to load him already. So he pulled out about 2 minutes before I did. And he runs the same way I do. And I haven't seen, he went across the bridge into a pretty town right before the Mississippi River. I was going underneath, he was going over across the top of the bridge, and I haven't seen him since.
go to sea. Why don't I get to the beach?
Coming into Madison, Wisconsin now. Yeah. Really? Did you find the 10 for it, or? No shit. Buy a new one or put the old one back in? Unbelievable. Done all that shit in those fucking water pumps. I got lost you. Still there?
Kids. 94.9 WOLX.
Oh, mama, I'm in fear for my life from the long arm of the law. Lawman is putting into my running, and I'm so far from my home. Oh, mama, I can hear you crying, you're so scared and all alone. Hangman is coming down from the gallows, and I don't have very long.
It's almost that time of year. Classic Hits 94.9 WOLX becomes Madison's home for the holidays. Can you guess when we'll flip the switch to non-stop holiday music? If you can, you'll win a family 4-pack of tickets to see Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical. Playing at Overture Center November 21st through November 26th. Guess the flip at WOLX.com. Good luck and happy holidays from 94.9 WOLX.
Open hospice care is a plan to keep a caregiver that support to help make my patients and their families' lives a little easier. Because expert care comes to you at home. Ask for a Grace. Carrier has a complete line of home heating products to keep your family comfortable this winter without burning your budget. It's
smart temperature management and remote access options, easier than ever to control your home's climate. And Carrier energy-efficient systems can help reduce utility bills without sacrificing comfort. For more complete comfort and greater peace of mind, turn to your Carrier expert.
Call your Carrier factory-authorized dealer. General Heating and Air Conditioning in Madison. Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison is your destination for entertainment 24 hours a day. Madison's casino offers over 1,200 slot machines and a 100% smoke-free gaming floor. Grab a drink from our service bar and enjoy casual dining at the Gamers Grill. Be sure to join our free rewards club to cash in on weekly rewards play and promotions. Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison welcomes ages 21 plus. Come get your big win at
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Live on stage, it's the hit Broadway show Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the musical.
You're as ugly as...
Catch the Grinch in what the critics call a genius of a show, a total delight for both kids and adults, and 100 times better than any bedside story, praised the New York Times. And Overture City, November 21st through the 26th. Tickets at overture.org.
You haven't been to the dentist in a long time. You know you should go, but it's much easier to keep putting off that dental appointment. But what's really keeping you away? For many people, it's fear. That's why, at Madison No Fear Dentistry, we help patients overcome their anxiety and achieve the healthy smile they deserve. Hi, I'm General Dentist Dr. Kevin DeGroot, and I believe the best thing for people fearful of the dentist to do is simply to talk to us. We take the time to listen to how you feel and will never pass judgment. Over the years, we've helped thousands of patients overcome their dental anxiety, and you can too. With sedation dentistry, you can be relaxed and comfortable while years of dental problems are resolved. But it's more than that. It's a partnership built on compassion and trust, and together we'll explore your options and find a solution you're comfortable with.
Learn more about sedation dentistry at MadisonNoFearDentistry.com or dial 877-786-99.
Discover Columbus Antique Mall and Museum this week for Customer Appreciation Day. With over 100,000 guests visiting annually and over 82,000 square feet of antiques, collectibles, glassware, vintage decorating, and more, Columbus Antique Mall is the place to visit. Find cases of books, locked cases of special treasures, and with a gift that fits any antique lover, purchase a gift certificate. This week only, get an additional 20% off all items $10 and over, excluding items with firm or red tags. Wisconsin's largest antique mall and museum is open daily from 8:15 a.m. until 4 p.m. From Madison, take Highway 151 north toward Columbus and take exit 115. Discover a new world of treasures for 20% off this week only at Columbus Antique Mall and Museum. Sale on Sunday at 4.
The Christopher Columbus Museum features souvenirs from Chicago's 1893 Columbian Exposition.
Hi neighbor, it's Brendan from Willie Street Co-op inviting you to our Holiday Showcase event this Saturday, 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. Stop at any of our 3 stores to sample foods for your holiday meals and parties. All natural turkey, wilted cheese, butternut beet hash, maple roasted root vegetables,
Saturday. Doing. Finally got service back. I got like 4 hours left on the phone. got like 189 miles to go. I gotta stop for the half an hour break somewhere. Where you at, Granny? I didn't hear what you said. What you like? Cool. Hey, did you get any more hits on them fucking CBs? Did you ever find that comment that guy made? Everywhere I've looked, they're $129 to $140. Drop it down to 100 and still get you. Not even doing it. Go back to that guy and say, alright, fine, give me $100 for it, I'll ship it to you. stop, I'll send you a picture of that unit. They just want fucking, they just want to get it as cheap as possible. Well, $30, but it'll cost you 75 to mail it. John will take it to fucking UPS and ship it. Oh, no shit. Oh shit. What do you want? Facebook Marketplace? Marketplace? You asked me for? Drop it down for a few. Leave it up there for a fucking week. Leave everything up the way it is for a week. And then after a week, then go fucking drop the price dollars. first husband.
After all,
How did you do? No, you think so? Maybe you don't need it. Oh, no shit. It's true. Yeah, no shit. No shit. Well, I get it too, but fuck, if you don't need one, why the fuck have one? You know? Right. Yeah, if you're gonna be fucking driving a car, then yeah, you need one. Do what? Well, yeah, if they're clean, don't fucking leave them in the sink. They'll get fucking, they will be dirty when you're done.
On their premium bracelets.
Could be that too.
The consultation. Call now.
Yeah, sometimes. I'm gonna run in here and grab me a bite to eat. That's in a little bit. Alright, bye.
Thank you.